Today, we are diving into something that I don't fully understand: Toastmasters. Thank you, Manjula, for being part of the episode. And could you please put a light on it? What is it?
I can completely understand you. The first time I heard Toastmasters, so I still get people asking me, are we getting a toast and tea out of it? Like, what is it about? So, Toastmasters International, I came across during one event when I was attending at an NGO. So, I was addressing the crowd. At that moment, one of my friend encouraged, you should try to attend a meeting of Toastmasters. And I was like, what is it about? This will help you because you're into anchoring, you're into public speaking. So it will definitely help you brush your skill sets. So I thought, okay, why not give it a try? So I just went as a guest. So you can attend a meeting as a guest any point of time, like maybe something which is nearby. A corporate club is also there, community club is also there. So something near your locality you can attend. And then at a point you feel, okay, this club has that vibe. Wherever that vibe matches, you can join, become a member.
Okay, just to confirm, you're saying that, okay, where will I find that which respective club is suitable for me? And what are all types of club?
So as I said, there is community club and corporate club. Corporate club meaning like you're a part of that corporate, that organization. So I'm also part of a corporate club. So when you leave the organization, then you're not part of that club. Then you have to actually look for some other club. Community club is wherein you can be any point of time. It's nothing to do with your job profile or as such. And you would find people from different fields as well there. So community club has that upper edge. So community club may be like near to your location. There are clubs of even students. Students have their college club. So once they are part of that college, they are part of that club. Later on, they have to move out from that club.
Okay.
So it totally depends. And at a point, how that vibe matches is you're attending a meeting. The structure is the same across. There is a prepared speech, there is an impromptu speech, and then there is evaluation. Certain parameters that aspects are same across the world because that is like a agenda which is being followed. Some like what they say, some little bit of ups and downs. You can say so. Some people have active listener role. So some roles up and down is there, but overall it is the same. So you would have that vibe wherein this matches. Okay, yeah, I'm having some learning or something, they are bringing to the table. You feel like, okay, this is more of a my age group kind of a place. So then you can join there.
I understand it's pretty flexible. Since you mentioned it's a non-profit organization and it helps people improve their public speaking, communication skills. Before Toastmasters, what was one communication struggle you faced in your corporate life?
Okay. So first and foremost, yes, it is an NGO. You can see it's a non-profit organization. And I'll just give a little bit history how it started. So the Toastmasters itself, like it's how to raise a toast. So there is this person, Ralph Smedley, 100-year-old club. This is like a 100-year-old thing,
Wow.
Toastmasters International. So 100 plus years, and you can say so 1,000 plus clubs in 100 plus countries. So that's how the journey over the period of time. So while raising a toast, you are being little bit nervous addressing the crowd. So that's when he started this journey of public speaking, communication skill, leadership skill, and all of it. So before joining Toastmasters, I had lots of overthinking. Even before I'm sharing, like you have that self doubt. Should I, I should say it or not? And by that time, that other person actually says your idea. So that is something you don't structure your thoughts. But after Toastmasters, I must say, be it more of an active listening or be it more of structuring the thoughts and having that impromptu preparation, you're able to do so.
So you're saying that impromptu preparation is like when someone is putting you on the spot, and once you join the club, you'll be able to speak up, and also you can plan your speech and execute it the way you want. So after joining, okay, what really shifted for you internally? And I'm asking in sense of maybe confidence, clarity, courage, or something else.
Okay. So impromptu is a everyday thing. In your day-to-day life also, we have that impromptu situation while handling, say, client, supervisor, senior management, even your colleagues. You're put into that situation.
Right.
There are googlies coming from across. So how at that point of time you actually stand, and then all that challenges which come around you, how you face it. So that helps a lot. And as you said about preparation, so with practice, when you have more practice, so this is a platform.
Okay.
So Toastmasters International, it is a platform wherein you're given that opportunity
Okay.
because you are given a mentor. So a mentor-mentee relationship is there.
Oh,
So that person guides you.
one-on-one guidance.
Yes.
Okay.
And then there is evaluation as well of your speeches,
Oh,
be it your voice modulation, high pitch, low, because at a point you want to send across your message.
right.
So how calmly you send that message, that matters, rather than shouting or raising the voice. That doesn't help.
Okay. Before starting the recording, while we were discussing outside, you mentioned that since it's an international club, it also gives you a certification. Tell me about that.
Yes, there is certification because there is a pathway. There is total 6 pathways, be it presentation, mastery, dynamic leadership, motivational strategies. So it depends. There is a test as well. So once
Okay.
you're a member, you will be given a test. So that based on that test, you can select pathway which suits you, your personality basically. And that has levels. So you complete say level 1, 2, 3. So a certificate is also provided which you can add in your resume. And as I said, it's a Toastmasters International. So definitely it has an upper edge. I have seen so many people who have like done their exams of that IELTS and all of it. And with this Toastmasters, so they get an upper edge while
Oh,
going for pursuing higher education or studies abroad. So that is one benefit. Definitely it has that edge on your resume.
that's really interesting. I was not aware about that because I know people do enroll for IELTS exam if they want to move abroad since it's an immigration criteria. Earlier, you mentioned about like it helps you impromptu speaking or maybe answering. Can you give one example about that?
Okay.
In sense of corporate, maybe an employer employee situation or something like that.
Okay. So earlier, how it works is whenever we are given what they say a scenario, at that point of time, it's not responding. We kind of react.
Right. Okay.
So over here, when that impromptu comes into picture, there are certain skill set which automatically works,
Okay.
wherein you're first listening to the topic. So active listening, and then you're structuring the thoughts,
Oh.
organizing the thoughts. So giving that pause, a small deep breathe in and breathe out, wherein you're calmly organizing, structuring the thoughts which needs to be answered. And with that calm manner, so that thinking comes into picture, listening comes into the picture, and then you're actually responding rather than reacting. So you're understanding what the client or the situation demands, be it your supervisor or anyone for that matter, what the actual situation demands and how you're getting the solutions rather than it's more of result oriented.
Right.
And it is an overall, it's not only about impromptu situations in your day to day life. It's like not only your professional, even in your personal life, it's an overall 360-degree soft skill development is there, personality development, grooming is there. A person, we learn to say no. We are like millennials, right? We are yet learning how to say no.
Right.
So we are structured in a manner. So all this thing helps us to have that assertive behavior and to work towards that. So just to be a better version of you.
Wow. So sorry for the impromptu halt. We have been joined by our dear co-host Johnny. Welcome back.
Yes, yes. Thank you for having me again. So let's continue.
Do you feel that this platform, like Toastmasters, is giving working women a kind of an unfair advantage in a good way?
So Toastmasters, it's for everyone. Woman, okay, that's there, woman empowerment and all of it. It is beneficial for a student, even say entrepreneur, a corporate professional, everyone. It is like beneficial to all. Whoever joins in, I'm pretty sure they have this quote also like once a Toastmaster, always a Toastmaster. So wherein a person who has been part of that, Toastmasters International, they kind of have that, they evolve as a person. That is for sure. And women folks, one thing is there, even be it in your professional or anywhere for that matter. So women folks have that thing wherein they don't think about themselves first.
Correct.
They just think about so many, like even a housewife, she keeps herself last. So many things she keeps in front of her and then she keeps herself last. So at that point of time, when her growth will come into picture, right?
Yes.
So you have to grow, and so your entire surrounding also grows along with you. So that is something professional or in personal front. I would urge women folks to prioritize themselves. So this Valentine, the first self-love, or you can say, so it is you love yourself, love thyself, and then wherein that your cup is full, wherein you can give out love to others, be it family and friends and all of it.
Okay, and you also mentioned that it's a certification, so it's a skill that you update on your resume. How much weight does it carry?
So weight, again, it depends on person to person. So you're putting it in the resume, okay, and you're having that interaction with the, what they say, the interview, that conversation happens. So in the pathway, there is this one project as well. So how it works is there is level 1, 2, 3, 4 completion, and in that also there are projects, small projects, be it presentation, even podcast is there. And over there you have the interview relation, means how to crack, or the things which needs to be covered. So that is also there. So it kind of helps you in your grooming. So definitely when you're actually giving an interview, it will have that edge. So weightage again depends on your skill set, be it your technical and all of it, and how you present that. So that matters.
And do employer know about this and do they value this? Because I have never seen about this in any resume that I'm familiar with.
I understand.
So so I understand where the question is coming. I believe it's because what happens is in organizations where you have specifically, like say if it's KPOs. So in KPOs, it is that particular skill is something that no a lot of people don't have, right? So that question is stemmed from that fact that okay, I have seen these many resumes and hence I've never seen this
Right,
particular topic.
right.
But I feel that Toastmasters would be really a good starting point. Correct me if I'm wrong. That wherein it helps you work on your communication, your assertiveness, which in turn helps you to better manage a certain situation. Like for example, a call with a client. Right.
Right, right.
This is where it helps you the most because you're thinking on your toes while you're speaking at the same time.
Correct.
So if that particular work profile is that way, Robbie, I feel this is where it sort of fits
Fit
right,
in, right.
yeah, right there. So I think I understand where the question is, but I think it is more about the profile, and if it is a more client facing or where you have to deal with a lot of stakeholders, Toastmasters might be quite helpful at that point.
Right.
Yes.
If tomorrow, if I'm screening a resume and someone mentions about the Toastmaster, I will definitely give more credibility to that person because there are like some ongoing already skills, presentation, like you mentioned about the levels.
Yes.
It is already there.
Correct.
And the question which you said now, Toastmaster, there is no much of awareness about it because it also comes with a cost. So the membership fees, it's in dollars. So now the dollar rupee, if you see that price has also increased. So in a year, if you see, there is a fee to it, be it, and it varies because a community club and corporate club, they need the space and then they provide refreshments and all of it. So it kind of varies club to club, but it comes with a cost. But how do you see it? That matters. For example, I see that amount as an investment in me because that is for my growth. And then there is networking as well. You meet like-minded people who a platform which is actually a transformation wherein that positive environment is there and who tries to push you to speak up
Correct.
even if you get stuck like in that 1 minute or you're given the topic and you're not able to, but everyone will encourage you to speak up. So that is something wherein they kind of guide you. No one is actually discouraging you or that grab mentality of pulling you down or something like that. They will actually, each and every person, I have seen there is contest as well in Toastmasters. They have contest and world champions are also there. TEDx speakers have come from Toastmasters. Many TEDx speakers have come from Toastmasters. So they, even though like, you're competitor to each other, but still you will help each other out. That's the platform. You can't actually see that in a real world scenario, but here I have seen that. Even though you both are competing with each other, but still you are helping each other as well.
So it's like a healthy competition where you
Yes.
help your opponent to grow as well, rather than wishing that he loses the battle.
Yes, definitely. That positive environment is there.
Correct.
That platform is there.
And a lot of people hesitate to speak up in meetings. Okay, and what is a practical like shift that help you start using your voice?
So in meeting, what happens is we kind of have that self-doubt. You're in a meeting and then you feel like if I ask, if
Question may
someone
make it
judge
look-
me or they will think my question is not up to the mark or anything or everything. Thousand of thoughts that pops up into your head. And before you still work on your thoughts, the same question is asked by some other person. And then you feel more dumb, like, oh my God, I missed that opportunity. So over here, you're given that opportunity of speaking up, structuring the thoughts. So you are in a calm manner, you are asking it. First and foremost, that question also, you will be making that proper points, bullet points, or some order you will put, and then you will frame the question in a very calm, confident manner.
Correct.
So the tone, voice modulation, that also helps.
I
How
think
you ask the question.
I think coming to this one scenario where if somebody asks the same question as you ask, and if you have something to add on to it, I would take that chance. Because so first of all, I do this one thing is that, oh, this is a very good point she raised, I would like to add on to this. I always do this. Is also the funniest thing, but the one thing that she pointed out nicely is that, say for example, if somebody has that question, obviously you wouldn't stop at the question, you would have other 4 points to add to it, right? So why don't you add to it? Why don't you add facts to it? Why don't you add your thoughts to it as to why it may work, it may not work? Why is that question valid?
Definitely, there is the knowledge part to it, and like you mentioned earlier, that one has to be assertive to put up a point across.
Yes.
Not to just to be seen, but just to communicate, because that itself add values to the conversation.
Yes, and initially a lot of people might see it as, oh, you just want to be seen, that's why you said something. But unless you don't have the courage to be seen, I don't think so you will have the courage to even continue with
Right.
that or follow through with that thought process.
And I also see speaking up means that you're thinking.
Correct.
There's this quote also, right? They said, if you don't ask, means if you ask, maybe you look like a fool for that particular moment. But if you don't, then your rest of the life, you're not asked that question. So you remain as a fool or something.
And I think I connect with this point is because a lot of because now I'm at a certain stage where I have to manage people. So the new generation that comes in, I feel they ask very less questions because they think that asking questions might land them into a zone
Yeah.
where people or the management thinks, so this particular person doesn't know what she or he is doing. But I think when even the manager should be in such a position to say that that's okay to ask questions, be it
Right.
stupid, be it weird, be it unstructured, because that's how they will be open to ask questions.
Right.
I feel that they don't even ask questions to each other. Did you understand this? We feel so that, but again, that's my personal experience. Probably you or
Even to the similar situation, I know as a leader, we always encourage people to speak up. But when I started my career, I was afraid of being seen.
Hmm.
And the other thoughts, what I had was that my idea is not good enough.
Hmm.
Or if I speak up, there was always this fear because I had a very little confidence. But later, when the roles switched, I realized that maybe everyone is going through that process. And as a leader, we try to, make them feel as comfortable as we can, or maybe just encourage to the ideas. I think that helps.
and sometimes in that process you come to know that how much you yourself know about that particular topic.
Right.
Because as much as I remember, it was always the questions that I asked that helped me learn rather than the free
Right.
text that you get to read, but you really don't understand. But the more questions you ask, the more better understanding you have of that particular subject.
And this thought which you said, na, everyone has it. Like, so you have to actually like, I am enough. Everyone has that, maybe I'm not good enough, but then that thing needs to shift. So that entire, over here, as I said, the mindset also changes at a moment, because you are in that platform wherein you listen to speeches of real time, like real story based, and how they have changed their perspective and how it shifted. So how they see challenges as opportunities. So all of it, it's not only about public speaking, or it is not only about leadership. It is so much more. So actually, I would urge to attend any meeting, online, offline, whenever you get an opportunity as a guest, wherein small things also. Unconsciously, we use the filler words. There is this R counter in the Toastmasters, wherein they note down each and every filler words. The way we use so, you know, mm, all of that is recorded, because that is something unconsciously we keep on saying.
Yeah.
So over the period of time, you become flawless.
Correct.
And be it your time management, there is a timer there. So time management. So it teaches you time management on a real time basis as well. Because you have to, you can't talk continuously like 30 minutes for. So you're given a time, say 5 minutes or 2 minutes. So that timer is there. So you have to ensure that articulate all the thoughts in that time management comes into picture. And then we have grammarian, wherein you can polish. So it is not perfect English, but you're improvising. So your level 1 speech, and then by the time you complete your pathway, you yourself can see the difference. So we usually record our speeches as well.
Correct.
So how it has changed from the first speech, the icebreaker speech, that the first speech you give, to your latest speech. So it varies. So that learning is also there. So it helps.
Speaking of self-doubt and fear, what's that one big myth corporate professionals have about public speaking?
The myth of corporate public. Okay, many people have that. I am introvert. That person is like, naturally gifted, extro. Nothing like that. You practice, that's it. Then you can reach that place. So practice makes a man perfect, right? So you have to practice. That's about it. No one is like actually born with a silver spoon or something. If you practice well, definitely. Many people have that. They kind of blame themselves only. No, I am introvert. I don't know, and all of it. And then they give, that's a myth only. Because if you practice, definitely you can be actually have that public speaking.
Yes, and I support that thought, because when you say I am an introvert, you've actually done a self introspection or self reflection, and you know that, oh, this is the problem. A lot of times your fear of doing something more to resolve that, or that can result into that, oh, I couldn't solve this problem as such. But actually it's quite easier. Like, I have this one friend of mine, he's quite young, to be very honest. So he has this fear of, oh, I'm not good at mathematics. Like, okay, why? Oh, I can't do the a square plus b square, whatever. And he's like, and I told him that, okay, but a lot of times generally you wouldn't need to do a square plus 2ab plus b square. You have to do your basic mathematics like plus, minus, percentages. And for simple calculations, you can't bring up that calculator or probably a mobile phone. It looks very weird. So do that simple things, work on the simple mathematics, and probably you can work your mind and push your mind to do something extra, like, oh, read a book, read at least 2 pages, or solve a mathematics problem, but not the complex one, but at least a plus minus multiplication and stuff. And that helps you a lot. It's a lot of people, it's very funny. A lot of people don't even look into their CTC, because there's a lot of numbers over there, and they accept the fact that, okay, this is now my life, this is what I'm going to get. So they don't do that. It's quite weird. You and probably do this one experiment. Ask them, okay, how much is your CTC? Can you show me the breakdown? You'll find a lot of people don't sit and actually make that. Okay, how much is my net in hand? How much taxes I'm paying? And what should I do to save taxes? It's very basic things, but they will not do it out of the fear of mathematics.
Oh my.
I've seen that is why the HR are very pushy with the numbers.
Correct.
Because we are not that good at negotiation.
Yes.
Maybe that's where it comes from. That's why people settle for low.
Yes. Because they think that, oh, they're getting, oh, I got a 20 LP. But 20 LP is actually how much? 14 LP in hand.
I don't.
After taxes, after your savings and stuff, and everything in hand is like 14 LP. But nobody will sit and do that calculation.
I remember Dimple having one of our guests during the HR episodes. She mentioned that there is a fixed bracket for a certain designation and for a certain process at a certain level. They will always offer you the low one.
Correct.
But you need to fill that gap and negotiate to the highest part because it is already approved. But people don't do that. Because the first question that we need to ask that, okay, at the senior manager level, what is the maximum lakhs per annum you offered? But people don't do that.
True.
So as you said, I completely agree. You have to take that one baby step, like one step at a time. Don't take it like entire staircase. Just take one step at a time and then maybe go forward. And negotiation skills, yes, it helps. Toastmasters International helps you in your negotiation skills as well.
You mentioned about storytelling. Like how important is storytelling as a part of?
Storytelling is, even if you see any advertisements also, when it has a story, you remember that advertisement. So storytelling has that remembrance, like long-term memory, it is stored. So it really helps a lot. So how, even in interview or anything for that matter, basically you're selling a product or selling anything for that matter with a story. So that kind has a better, what they say, push for the buying, and rather than, just, has that effect.
I
Correct.
really love the Fevicol ads. They stay with you for a very long time. Even Nestle ads for Maggie. They have a good story.
Yeah.
So that's where I think.
But the most scariest one are the LIC ones.
So,
because they scare the shit out of you and ask, because if you die, what will happen to your family? And it is like the fear-based environment it is created, and for you to worry. I remember during COVID when it all early started, there were many people who were buying policies just for the sake of the family. What if something happens tomorrow? Okay, communication skill impact career growth more than technical skill.
So we are, AI is there to help us in so many things. Actually, all the monotonous work will be taken care of. We don't have to worry. But what about the people management skill? So wherein that soft skill comes into picture? Because we are, end of the day, working along with people, right? So even if you see, there are certain AI tools which actually has that human-like approach to speak with us. So we also like that particular AI tool compared to the other AI tool because that human touch base is there. Similar way, your soft skill, it helps in the people management skill because end of the day, you're interacting with people,
Correct.
other team, current team members, supervisors, senior management, clients. So it helps in the long run. So along with your technical and leadership skill and all of it, so the people management skill, soft skill helps a lot.
And you mentioned about being assertive without being aggressive. Put some light on that.
So many times it happens is we are still learning to say no. We are having so much of work, so much of things in our plate, but still we are hesitant. As you said, even the negotiation part, we don't negotiate. They are giving a low bracket LPA to us, and then we are having that if I ask, if I lose, means we have all that thoughts, and we're not able to actually share what is in our heart, and we kind of compromise to an extent. So an assertive person, there is a difference, right? An assertive person who knows his or her value. They're not looking for any validations outside. They're not looking for, this many likes, this many comments, and this many things actually. They know their worth. So wherein their skill sets, they know they upgrade themselves, upskill themselves, based on which they are in that upper age of negotiation. They are in the age of getting their work done or getting their things done. So wherein you're, even in the Holy Scriptures it said, right? You have to ask. So if you don't ask, then how will you even get anything, right? So you have to actually ask. But how you ask, that also comes into picture. There, the communication skill. Okay. If you ask in a very robust manner, like as you said, aggressive manner, then that message it will look rude also. So you have to put it in a way wherein you are asking in an assertive way, and it comes with practice. It doesn't come overnight. You would be, and we are human beings. We are subject to doing some or the other mistakes. It's normal. So you don't have to self-sabotage yourself, even if a mistake has been done. So that is where the Toastmasters now, one thing which I love is there is evaluation. So each and every speech of yours is evaluated. So they don't actually, discourage you. But yes, these are the good points. This is the scope of improvement. So that is shared with you. So that is something you can work on. Same way in our day-to-day life, even though we are assertive, but at a point there is a thin line. Maybe we are little bit robust at this point of time. Then we have to again come back, how to articulate and then how to share that information. So that is an ongoing process. It doesn't happen overnight. It is an ongoing process.
And I feel that the ongoing process again has to start somewhere. Because if we don't do that one effort, I think it brings us back to that same thing that, okay, do that one step. If you don't take that one step of self improvement, you have done self reflection, but also start self improving. Because at certain point of time, like once you are like 10 years old or 15 years in the corporate, you might not grow further if you don't know how to present yourself or speak out. So you might be good at your job, but if you're not marketing the hell out of yourself, I don't think so there is any
True.
hope.
So there's this thing which I heard long back. So we used to have Blackberries and Nokia, but now it's out of market because it didn't upgrade. Or yes, so change is the only thing which is constant. So we have to upgrade and upskill ourselves. If not, then we have to now embrace AI. It's not like we have to be afraid of AI. We can use it and then like just articulate things and all of it.
Right.
But we have to have that change outlook.
Yes, and AI, a lot of people I had this real conversation with my wife as well that right now she's into development, web development, and a lot of companies or managers or probably owners, they're saying that, oh, AI can do this, AI can do that, and probably will not need these many developers and things that people, they are trying to scare you as such. But my wife, she has been learning things. So what she says is that AI uh, will not do things just because you told them that, okay, write this particular code. A lot of the code is still garbage, and these people have to spend more time in cleaning the garbage and then producing a certain code. So basically, to look out for that garbage, you also have to understand what is the right thing, what is garbage, right? In similar ways, communication as well, or has that one thing that you should know how to articulate things, or at least have a mindset of putting things into context. Because without context, even AI will give you garbage. So that's where the point again comes, that start making that improvement in yourself, wherein you know what exactly you want to say ahead, and probably then punch it into the AI or LLM model, and it will give you something really rational, because your thought process is clear.
Right.
I wanted to add here, like long back I heard this. So it was in Hindi. I'll just, put it. So in the initial year, when you're, you're born and, baby, you're like crawling here and there. And then that point of time, you're learning to speak, learning to talk, abba, daba, and whatever your starter.
Okay.
So you're learning to actually speak. Okay. And then there is this whole lifetime wherein you learn what to speak, where to speak, how to speak, and all of it. Because that is something it's an ongoing process because you're not supposed to say certain things, which is there in your mind out. So you have to have that filtration also. I've seen literally people who have no filter and then what is coming in their thought, they just say it. But that is not something which helps in our corporate life. Corporate life needs more of calm and that how you actually project yourself, that also has that.
I liked it at the start when you said that during on-prem the communication people react. So it's more about responding without reacting.
And if you are getting angry of what the other person is saying, then you should not say anything. Is I think that has had a lot of detrimental effect on my career, because initially, at least till 2017-18, I was like that. I used to speak out my mind without any structure. I've had some instances where I've like gone against the management and literally called them good words, very nice words. I would not like to say, but over a period of time, understood that that doesn't work all the time, because at some point of time there will always be someone better than you who will take over whatever you missed out on. So I think this one factor makes a lot of difference. If you know how to not react, you sort of will go leaps and bounds ahead. Because you know how to handle that situation, de-escalate, and then improve on whatever is going to come ahead.
You can even put it this way. There are certain speeches, okay? It is like with you for the rest of your life. So just like how we have authors who write books and their message are shared with the world, same way the speakers, be it in Toastmasters, TEDx, World Champions, their speeches are there with you forever. So it's like how you want to be remembered or what legacy you would want to, give back. So that is something where we can think of, because change is very constant. We are in this organization for like now, but you don't know, right? Even 5 years, 2 years down the line, you would be in some other place.
Correct.
So at
Yeah,
this,
it's a small world. I remember we have worked like how many companies together? 3 companies, and that same goes with you,
Yes.
Johnny, right? Yeah, it's a small world.
And somehow somebody
Will
meet you.
meet you.
yeah, so be like, happy go, and you don't have to hold on to that grudges or things like that. Just
I agree.
Uh, yes, that's true. And I think Toastmasters would, correct me if I'm wrong, it tries to make that difference that, okay, any organization that you go, you need to have that self control, but at the same time, don't take yourself too seriously. Because a lot of times you get self conscious when you're very serious about certain things. So you have to go with the flow of that conversation. Probably that helps you to ease into that whole situation that you're trying to present.
yes, that impromptu helps in the situation.
Yeah.
Impromptu helps a lot in that situation.
Because it says that it's communication is just not just about speaking. It's about finding your voice, owning your space, and leading with clarity. Preparedness is important. Taking a pause is important. Learning to say no. This is what I have understood from all our conversation today. And so Toastmasters don't just build speakers; they build confident professionals and courageous leaders. And there are champions and even TEDx speakers who are part of the club. Thank you, Manjula. It has been like really informative, and it's like for me an introduction to something, a community that will surely help not just working professionals but students and people who want to level up into public speaking.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I just want to conclude in a way wherein it's not only Toastmasters, it's not like, that's the only thing which is there. It totally depends on you, how you want to upskill yourself, upgrade yourself, anything or everything. Because corporate life, professional life is also temporary. Maybe I've seen one of my friends, she's now into mandala art and nail art and doodling and whatever. You have loads of opportunities. So just you have to see, which I've learned is, see a resume. You have your resume, right? So every 6 months, there should be some change in it. It
Mm.
shouldn't be the same, right? Because you as a person will get bored with that monotonous work.
True.
So be it upskill, upgrade yourself to the better version of you. So you can take anything, like for that matter, be it Toastmaster, there is this platform of networking is there, or the soft skill development is there, personality development is there. That is one part. But apart from that, you like to go for any other courses which helps you have that edge and which is helping you in your personal professional trend, you can go for that, because that is an investment in you. The best returns is like the investment in you which you put.
Love thyself.
And if you had like 2-3 things that basic that everyone should know, what would be those?
The most important is self defense, because as a girl, I travel a lot and I feel that self defense gives you a next level confidence. It's because you are in that scenario wherein that mindfulness is also there. So self defense is something should be mandatory, taught in school or everywhere. So everyone should know that. And as you said about the CTC and tax part, yes, everyone should know about their tax and returns and filing, certain basic things.
Personal finances.
Yes, personal finances they should know.
Thank you so much for your insights, and this would be really helpful to our listeners. And thank you everyone for listening. And you can find us on WhatsApp. We have a community. We have Substack community.
Yes.
We are on LinkedIn as well, so you can reach out to Corporate Elements whenever you have an information, or if you want to share some thoughts and process that can be discussed on this particular podcast. Thank you everyone, and keep learning.
Thank you all.